O'Neill, 2 L's. I serve the SGC under a General Hammond.
We're explorers. You see, we're from another planet.
The unstable vortex of a forming wormhole. Kawoosh.
Indeed.
Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another episode of the Kawoosh podcast with your host Arne and my lovely co-host Evie. As always, we are here to discuss our rewatch of Stargate SG-1. We are in Season 2, Episode 10, titled Bane. Not the Batman villain.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even sure why it's called Bane.
Same.
I
Yeah.
really think the writer's room just has this big jar with like loose words and then just pick something because they have to give it a title. I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, this, I remembered barely anything of this one. Mm-hmm. I knew
Same.
that there was an episode with a bug and Teal'c getting stung, but I had no idea what happened in it. So yeah, this was a sort of fresh one for me.
Alright.
So we open up on a flooded city with the Stargate in the foreground, and it's empty.
And it's a very futuristic city.
Well, yeah, very modern, and
Yeah.
because Daniel even remarks it's like Earth-like or predates Earth. Earth ancestry is apparently what he used in my notes. And then Jack steps in some kind of goo, or like, well, poo probably. And it's even hanging from the flagpoles we see on the square. So it's everywhere.
And it was filmed, I just noticed, it was filmed very weird, I thought, because they have this one shot with this building in the background with Jack and Teal'c, but then whenever they cut to Sam or Daniel, I know what his name is. I was going to say Jackson. It's very tight. Like Sam has this as an extreme close-up constantly whenever she's in the frame. And I'm like, did you not have like a different background? Is that the only angle you had in that building?
It did really look like they had one angle of the front of the building with some empty sort of parking lot in the front. But I think whenever they needed to like
Turn.
pan a little
it was
bit,
so close. It was like...
yeah, it was really, really obvious that this was their money shot and they had emptied everything out for this.
Yeah, and I was... Because at a certain point I was like, was Sam not there? Was Amanda tapping otherwise engaged? Did they film it somewhere else? But then no, she steps in. Okay, but it really felt like they were just inserted into it. It felt
It
weird.
was probably a really practical thing, like...
Well, yeah,
like
but
you
then
said, like-
don't use that location. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it really did look like we found a building, we can empty it out for an hour, let's shoot there.
Yeah.
Like, and they only go there for the cold open, and they go back to the planet, but we don't see that.
Yeah, we don't see it. I think they had like one day there, probably.
Something like that, yeah. They're discussing what could have done this, and they don't think that it's Goa'uld, because they would have left a lot more damage, because there's no damage anywhere. And then something zooms by, and he like zooms past Jack, and we barely see it. Then something... Teal'c then turns around and there's a bug on his back, and Jack wants to shoot it off.
Sorry. There's something on your back.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. It looked really good though. It was practical. And that was a good bug. Somebody put a lot of effort in it.
Yeah.
It did feel a lot like an RPG moment where like the GM goes, a giant bug lands on your back, what do? And one of the other players goes, I'ma shoot it! And you go like, oh god, like why was he gonna shoot it? That was such an overreaction.
Because of course he shoots it and it stings Teal'c and they rush him through the gate. Then Daniel,
and then you see a lot of other bugs.
Yeah, he yells a warning and there's a lot of bugs coming over that one shot of the building we have. And there's a cloud of them. They dial the gate, they rush home, they close the iris, and you can hear like the impact of the bugs flying through the gate on the other side. Then we cut quickly to the med bay where they open up the back of Teal'c's shirt and there is a large swelling visible. And it is getting worse, even though he has his larva.
I have thoughts and opinions about the medical, like just the whole medical facility in that base. Because, first off, nobody's trying to reduce the swelling with anything. She just jabs at it with a thingy. And then she goes, this looks like some kind of reaction. And I literally wrote down, no shit, Sherlock. It's like this big. Like some kind of reaction. And I mean, it's not even that weird that if a bug stabs you, that you get a reaction.
No, but the thing is, and that's the main point of this scene, is like his gold larva is not
True.
really fixing it.
True.
Like they
True.
will realize later that it's doing something, but he doesn't seem to heal. In fact, it's getting worse. And I think their first reaction is not like they're just checking Teal'c, because normally they don't need to check Teal'c.
It does feel like that. She's poking and like,
Something's off. Normally,
do something.
yeah.
I'm not supposed to. It just felt. But like, I love how Christopher Judge is like, you can see that he's trying not to panic, but he's panicking.
Yeah,
And I really like
plays,
how-
he
yeah.
plays it really, really well. He's constantly has this like he's in pain and he's biting back, and like you can see that he's off. All his demeanor changes.
Yeah, but he still tries to push blah blah blah. But he still tries to push through it. But you can just feel this lingering panic. Like like the layers are very well played. Is what my English is amazing. I'm doing great.
Well,
Quick, say something.
after this quick opening, we cut to the opening credits, and when we get back, Dr. Fraser exits the room, and she says he has a viral infection, and they took a blood sample, and it reveals there's foreign DNA in his blood. Carter then says that she knows a doctor, Timothy Harlow, who specializes in genetics. Hammond says he'll make sure he's there by the end of the day.
Because he already has clearance.
Yeah, because we will find that he's already working on similar stuff. He arrives, and after some research, he comes up with like a good news, bad news situation, because the blood sample they took from earlier doesn't have any of Teal'c's DNA in it anymore. It only has the foreign DNA. So it is changing, and the blood, since it's not in his body anymore, and the larva that can't influence it anymore, rapidly changed.
Which means the larva
Yeah.
Junior 2 is basically...
Yeah, he's keeping it at bay, but he's not. He can't stop it. That's the good news of the situation.
And then we get more bad news, because who arrives?
That is a little bit later, because first we cut to Teal'c in sickbay, and Jack is sitting there. He's trying to calm him down. And Teal'c says it has been a long time since he felt so bad. And O'Neill tries to comfort him and tell him that it's okay to be scared. But Teal'c says he doesn't want to change into something other than himself. He would rather die.
I wrote down Teal'c's being super dramatic.
At this point, he does sound like that. Like, dude, you're only sick for a day.
I think it's because they told him he's changing.
I think, yeah.
I think
might
it's
be.
more that.
Yeah. And then, as you said, Jack goes to Hammond's office to talk to him, and he finds Mayborn there. So his smile immediately drops. And Mayborn has official orders with him to take Teal'c for information. And Jack asks the general for permission to beat Mayborn up, and like Mayborn's look is like a slight panic, like, oh,
Because
shit.
Hammond doesn't immediately respond. Like, request permission to kick this man's ass. And Hammond just, like, you see, he wants to say yes.
Meanwhile, Carter confronts Harlow because she figured out it was him who contacted Mayborn. And this is where we find out that that's why he already had clearance, because he was already working on similar stuff, alien stuff that got probably there through the Stargate back to the NID. And they take Teal'c away. They put him in a hazmat suit and chains. Dr. Fraser protests, but Harlow promises that he will take care of Teal'c.
But just the way they take him away,
Yeah.
like, he is a patient, not even in a wheelchair, not even, like, what? This is such a weird way of taking him away. Like, you can still put him on a gunnery and then, like, put, like, handcuffs on him. Like, what was this? This was very much just to show, hey, remember, Mayborn's the bad guy.
Also, probably just a little power move by Mayborn.
Mayborn is an ass. I wrote it
Yeah.
down, so we know it's true.
Yeah, and Jack immediately starts protesting when he sees the handcuffs, but they move Teal'c into a van, and then they drive away. Mayborn wants to know how long it will take for Teal'c to change. Harlow says that will depend on the gold larva, and at this point he also realizes that Mayborn doesn't want... he wants Teal'c to change, and he looks at him in horror.
Yes.
And then suddenly Teal'c starts screaming, he rips his chains apart, and he attacks the people in the van. We see a shot of the driver, and he just like punches through the window into the front, and we get an off-screen car crash.
I mean, if I was driving and I heard commotion like that, I would stop the car. But
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just me.
So at the SGC, they get the call from the driver, so Hammond warns the others and they rush out. Meanwhile, Teal'c is undoing his chains in the van, and he gets out of the hazmat suit, and he just plain pulls the larva out of his pouch.
Junior number 2, he has a name.
And he, of course, runs off, and then moments later, SG-1 arrives, and they find the wreckage of the van, and they find the gold larva in the back, and it's still alive.
I wrote down at this point, with no memory of the episode whatsoever, I wrote down, if Teal'c runs into a little kid who helps him, I'm going to be annoyed. Guess what happens later in the episode? I'm like, because it's such a trope. Like, someone lost and alone, away, cut off from the others.
Especially
and then,
the big, strong one.
Especially the big, strong one. And then they always meet a kid. Always.
Yeah.
I called it.
Yeah, you did. At the SGC, Mayborn wants a search action started. Jack walks in, and he says he'll be leading it. And if he has any problem with it, he can take it up with Hammond. Then Harlow updates them quickly on what actually happened in the van, and he thinks that Teal'c is changing and that taking out the larva will advance the change, and it may be warping his mind. So they put the larva on water. Fraser and Carter are looking after it, and Sam feels bad she can't access Jolinar's memory for more info about the goa'uld physiology.
Which is nice because it gives us... They don't actually use it as a quick solution. It's more of a reminder like, hey, remember Jolinar? Remember the Tok'ra? Because this is going to come back later.
Yeah, in I think about 2 episodes we'll be getting to the Tok'ra. So it's a good thing. It's a smart thing. They keep reminding us that the Tok'ra are a thing. So that's really good.
What I kind of noticed, they try to recreate the pouch environment. That's basically what they're trying to do. They have liquids, they have samples from Teal'c's pouch fluid, I think they call it. So I can understand they're trying to recreate that. What I don't understand is, the pouch is dark. Put a cloth over there. Poor Junior's going blind.
That is such a good point because...
But of course you need a visual. You made the damn thing. You're going to show it to the public. I get it. But if you're trying to recreate the pouch, then that thing had to be smaller and it had to be dark. Just my 2 cents.
And I get that you put some lighting in there to show off the puppet you have.
Yeah, exactly.
But like you said, you can make the room dark and have a low light and imply that's what you're doing and still see the thing. So yeah, that's a very good point. I didn't log that.
Well, but I can get, I totally understand like a practical viewpoint. If you tell the camera crew like, okay, we're going to film low light, you're like, oh, fuck off.
I think they just might have not thought of that. Just,
Probably.
oh yeah, have a tank, put the thing in, put some light in there, and nobody was like, hey, in the belly it's kind of dark.
Junior 2 is not having a good day.
No. Suddenly they get a call over the radio, and it's Teal'c, and he tells Jack that he ran away from Mayborn and he doesn't want him to follow him. And then Jack tries to call for him, but he has dropped the radio and disappeared into the woods.
No, he's put the radio down very artfully because that is a cool shot.
Yeah, true.
That looks very cool. That was a very nice insert of a walkie-talkie sitting in the forest.
The props department was like, yep, I got this.
Is it like...
In the lab, Harlow says he has some experimental RNA inhibitors that they can use to test, and the others are immediately mad that he didn't offer them earlier, but he's offering his help now. and they need some of the aliens' venom to test all that stuff. So Sam and Hammond are not sure if Harlow can be trusted, but there isn't a lot of options.
I do wonder. Like they say we need the venom. Teal'c was full of the venom. You're telling me nobody took samples when he came back?
It was rather quickly. Mainborn just swung by and picked him up and took him off. I don't think they had the time to do all that stuff.
I don't know. Well,
At least that's implied.
I mean, they did need a cool scene where, they chase a bug around.
So yeah, Jack and Daniel enter, and because they didn't find Teal'c, they went out, didn't find him, came back, and then they get briefed on that they need to catch a bug. Jack immediately volunteers, so he, Sam, and Daniel go back to the planet, which we don't see. They just
go and they don't wear any protective gear. They do come back with face masks, but it's just face masks. And you know that they have hazmat suits. They have full on astronaut gear. They have so many options. And there's bugs out there that can stab through clothing. Why didn't they put that on?
Yeah, it's really weird. They have face masks that are clearly designed for if there's something in the air and to filter it out. That's it.
Yeah. It's almost like they didn't think about it until someone on the scene said, hey, should they go through the gate like this? And okay, what do we have here? Here, just put this on. I don't know.
We catch up with Teal'c, who is stumbling into town. We at least like this one shot of the town, and I kind of recognize it. I just couldn't put a name on it, but it's an American. I think it's because I think it's a shot from an American city.
Oh,
and then
you mean
and they. But
the
of course, they immediately cut back to, Vancouver. One building block in Vancouver that was empty that week.
And this was the first time, basically, we see Teal'c out in the real world.
Yeah.
Without supervision.
Exactly.
And without a hat on.
Yeah, because he immediately gets confronted by some punks who want to know where he got his cool tattoo, which he describes in detail.
Yeah, he's like, they cut it up with a knife, and then they pour molten gold in it, and okay then.
They asked him, where did you get it? And he was like, Teal'c. And he kind of chases them away, and a young girl...
we don't see it's a girl yet.
No, we don't see it yet, but they, I think they call her Allie at that point.
Yeah, but Allie can be a boy's name too. What? No, Allie is a gender
That's not
free.
a gender-free name.
Isn't it?
I don't... Al. If you shorten it, maybe.
I don't know.
Anyway, so a girl jumps out and she sees him walking off and she's like, oh, he's cool.
I mean, he is cool.
He is cool. She's right. Yeah. He starts wandering around town. He evades cops. And we get a quick cut back to the SGC where Hammond gets worried. He's ready to send SG-3 after SG-1. We cut back to Teal'c, who found an abandoned building and is making his way inside. He's clutching his chest, he's collapsing to the ground, and we can see that his arm is now full of some kind of blisters that are bleeding and stuff. It's really icky.
Yeah, but it's really well done.
Yeah, the makeup is on point in this episode, especially for makeup on a black man, which is always a sticking point. It's always a little harder to do because a lot of the people are not trained to do that, and it is really well done.
Yeah, it goes to show that they had time to do tests probably.
Yeah. SG-1 returns from the planet, so as you said, they jump through the gate and they have face masks on. They are followed through the gate by one bug, and it starts zapping around the gate room. They close it all up, and Jack shoots it down, and it falls behind the gate. And this was a really good Texas switch, because the creature that is flying is, of course, CGI. It falls behind the gate as the camera moves towards it, and as he moves by the gate, we reveal, of course, the practical puppet lying dead on the ground.
All right, for people who don't know what a Texas switch is, maybe you should explain what a Texas switch is.
You have two subjects that are meant to be the same thing, and you swap them out in a moment where it's hidden. So a stuntman moves out of frame, and the actor pops back in. That's a Texas switch, and here it's a CGI puppet that disappears behind the gate, and then we reveal the practical puppet lying there. So
Yeah.
that's
And it's
basically
uncut. It's
one move, one camera move. And of course, when you're doing CGI, it's a lot easier because you don't need to have two people or things. But it works really well. They bring it back to the lab, and Harlow starts testing it. And they also have brought some footage from the planet. So apparently they also had a camera with them.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah.
It's a bit...
They basically went there with nothing, and they came back with face masks and a camera.
And also, I thought they went to catch a bug. And then they just went around inside.
But they explained that they went into the building that we saw because they heard something, and they thought maybe there were still people there. And what they found was a sort of cocooned or mummified remains of people. And then one of them pops, and a lot of bugs come out of it. So what happens is they infect you, and you just become a breeding ground for more bugs.
And what kind of annoyed me was they take over your DNA and they change your DNA, and then because of equal mass conversion, one person becomes at least 10 bugs. And I'm like, well, yes, have you ever seen a corpse being eaten by maggots? It's the same thing, but less magical science-y. Like, you can just say that, like, you didn't have to make it this complicated. Bugs, that's how bugs, replicate. Replicate? That's not the word.
Breed.
Thank you.
Reproduce.
There we go. I know. My English is so on point today. Like,
but
yeah.
It is kind of a cool horror visual. It's on a videotape, so you can't really see what's going on.
Well,
It's well done. It works.
But it just feels like whoever wrote this, like all these things that happen are things that insects on our planet do. Insects can take over your brain and say, go and put yourself in danger. Like there's literal ants that can be taken over to go be put somewhere where, like, they make it sound like, oh wow, this is so alien. Like, it's really not.
I think that's kind of the idea, but
I don't know. Like the scientist, like the dude,
but he's
I
not.
forgot
Yeah.
his name.
Well, they should have hired a bug scientist and maybe a biologist instead of a geneticist.
Maybe because maybe the geneticist is in fact going like, whoa, this is so alien, and a bug scientist would be like, that's actually like bug.
We have 4 of
101.
those in the lab.
Yeah, like they do that at home too. They what? Like, I mean,
Okay, but it's more like they're upping the stakes.
Okay,
So
thank you
it's
for
not-
cutting me off because I was gonna spout bug facts. Just make
So
stop.
we start with Teal'c being in danger, and now we realize that if he reproduces a lot of bugs, it can spread quickly. So they're
True.
upping the stakes, and the episode becomes like a race against time at this point. So
Yes.
yeah, in typical horror movie fashion, we're going a lot further. So Teal'c is hiding in the building in the dark, and there's some slime forming on his skin, and then suddenly the kid busts in there. She has a water, like, is it a pistol or
A water gun.
Water gun. And she immediately clocks that he's not from around there.
A super soaker.
A super soaker,
A
right?
super
That's
soaker,
the one.
that's the word.
Yeah. So of course she's a kid. She starts talking to him, so she immediately clocks. Yeah, you're not from around here. And this was really smart. She was like, because he's acting the way he is, she thinks he comes out of rehab.
Yeah.
So we also immediately see, like, she's kind of smart.
Yeah, and I love how, well, it makes sense for her to know the things she does because it turns out her dad was a cop and she lives around this area that's obviously a problem area. But again, I really love how Stargate in general writes their kids. They're not just dumbed down adults, they're kids. And that is a hard beat to hit.
Like, you have to follow the kid logic and
Yeah.
know what this kid will know, because not all kids know the same
But
thing.
but so many kids are either too dumb or too smart,
Yeah.
or they're just, it doesn't work. And this is a kid.
She's the good kind of street smart.
Yeah, it works really well, and it's a good actor too.
Yeah. Teal'c tells her nobody can know that he's there. She says, "You look worse than my dad. He got shot and he died."
Bummer.
Yeah. And then before she goes, he tells her he needs nourishment. And she's kind of bumped because she wants her candy, but she offers the candy bar anyway. And he wants more. She wants to know what's in it for me. And she says, like, now you owe me one. And she leaves and gets more.
And then she says, don't sweat it. And Teal'c like, I cannot stop it because he's sweating buckets.
With all the stuff he's saying, like, what's in it for me? Caramel and chocolate.
Yeah, like, same for you as it's for me. Like, I love how they're like, because there's nobody as like slangy, sarcastic as a kid at that age, especially in the 90s.
Takes it so
and
literally.
yeah.
It works. It's funny.
And I have to admit, the moment the kid appeared, I'm like, oh, god damn it, I'm right. There is a kid. But then she turned out awesome. So I'm like, okay, fine. She gets a pass.
Then we cut to the SGC where Daniel is helping Harlow with the bug.
I love how the scientist was like, you're bored, aren't you? You haven't had anything to do this entire episode. Want to help me take this bug apart? Like, that's the vibe I got. Like, Daniel was just like...
if you're gonna stand around here, you might as well help
me. Like, I'm here too. I have to be in this episode or I don't get paid. Sure, I'll help you. Like, it just felt Daniel had nothing to do this episode.
Yeah, so they cut it open. Harlow is of course, very fascinated. And they managed to get some of the venom out. Then Sam enters, she has ran the numbers and the bugs will reproduce exponentially. They can have swarms in the millions in 6 to 8 weeks. So again, we're escalating the danger. The kid returns with more candy bars and she wants to know if he's a Kimble, like from the movie The Fugitive. Because she noticed that the cops around there are asking around for him. So Teal'c tells her she must leave because
first he's like, what is a Kimble?
Yeah.
And it took me, I like how she explained it because the 90s was a while ago. The second she said like the Fugitive. I remember that movie, but it took a while.
Yeah, but yeah, she clocked that the cops are out there. He says, you must leave me because I'm dangerous. She doesn't believe him because she's got the sense.
Her old man gave it to her. She can smell if a person is good or not.
And she at one point asks, like, or even several times, what planet are you from? Because he doesn't know any of the references she's throwing out there. And she also tells him that if you manage to get up, I know a good place to hide. Then back at the SGC, Hammond has gotten a call from the president and Mayborn's orders are reversed. He is not allowed to take Teal'c, but he can still look for him. So Jack says like, okay, the hunt is on.
I'm confused. So he's allowed to hunt for him, but not take him?
He's allowed to help in the search. He can't wave official papers around and just take Teal'c. But yeah, Jack is like, yeah, he's gonna take Teal'c and not tell anyone. So so there is a kind of a race going. And we cut to several unmarked vans moving in and armed people are jumping out. And I was a bit confused, but they probably got there because of the cops asking around.
The cops are asking around, and then the guy basically points at the building. So they know he's hanging around there.
But it oh, they're quick. They just found him first try, but it's not really first try. But yeah, anyway, we need to move the story along. Anyway, Mayborn steps out of the van, and he seems to know where he's going. They bust into the building and Teal'c is being led away by Allie. Harlow, meanwhile, has identified what he thinks he needs so he can fix it. Fraser says they may be out of time because the larva is dying. So now they're upping the personal stakes here as well. In the city, the soldiers are moving in on Teal'c's location, who is hiding in a ceiling somewhere.
Yeah, because you can see his face in the hole, and he's looking down.
And Allie is sneaking away, but she gets caught by a soldier.
And then the soldier brings her down, which is a bit weird. If you find a kid playing in a building, is your first reaction gonna be like you're eating in a bed? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe? Like he's like, look what I found. Like
it's also a 90s trope.
True.
Because we then get the scene where she confronts
that scene
Mayborn.
Is amazing because Mayborn's like, we're from the United States of America, the good guys, and I laughed.
Yeah, she just doesn't want to tell him anything because the way he smells.
Because I don't like the way you smell. And he's like, what?
And he's really taken aback by that.
He's like,
he
what?
has no answer for that.
He has no answer for that. And then he's just let her go, I guess.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Fraser says they have about 8 minutes left. Jack wants to know if Jolinar really doesn't have anything to offer, but Sam can't get to the memories. And then Jack wonders, is there no way we can just zap it? And then Dr.
that's
Fraser,
Jack's.
yeah, and then Dr. Fraser is like, defibbing might be just killing it. And then Sam goes like, yeah, but wait. And she has a vague memory of something that they did before and it worked.
No. They look at each other because Jack basically says, can't we just zap it like with electricity? That basically the gist of it. And they gave each other a look and like, it can't be that simple. A human body is a battery. We should put a current through the fluid because maybe that's what the thing needs.
Right, yeah, it was such a huge load of technobabble that I didn't write it
Oh,
down.
I got it.
Yeah.
It's basically like, oh, this baby needs like
Yeah.
the current of the electricity of the human body. And then they try it.
So Sam's side, yeah, that might work. Meanwhile, the girl Ellie returns to Teal'c. The soldiers are apparently gone, and he's now being covered in webbing. A cocoon is forming around him, and she wants to go get help, but Teal'c grabs her wrist to stop her. In the lab, the larva is getting better, and Jack is pretty proud of the idea he had.
I also love how, with all that technobabble and all that cool stuff, what is basically they put 3 giant batteries and they duct taped it together, and then that's the current that they you're trying to give, like you put needles in a potato for school.
I was like, it was so funny. Jack is
Like-
so smug. He's like, I got the science part right.
He's like, well, my job here is done. I don't know what he said exactly, but he was
He was like, my job is done.
like he's just so proud of himself.
They get a phone call, and it is for O'Neill, and it's Allie. She has a message for him, and he needs to hurry. So Jack quickly arrives at the scene, and he finds Teal'c completely in the cocoon. Then Daniel is the next one to poke his head through the hole, and he's just like, I'll go get help.
And then he vanishes
and I was like, you didn't bring it already?
It's or walkie, like
Yeah.
bring a walkie and say like we found him.
It's
Breathe.
just like, he's here. There he is. He's gone again. He's in the episode, we swear.
like, hey, Daniel needs to say something. Like it almost feels like he went like, hey, I haven't said anything for 10 pages. Can I say something? Yeah,
poke your
sure.
head
Poke
through.
your head through. Say he's here, and then dug back out. Okay, cool. Like,
Yeah, Teal'c asks Jack to kill him, but Jack says, no, it will all be okay. And they get him out of the cocoon and roll him out of the building.
how?
We don't see that. He's just on the stretcher.
Yeah.
And they roll him out of the building. The girl can't come with, and she wants to know if he'll be okay. And Daniel says he hopes so. And the girl wants him to tell Teal'c he still owes her one.
I do love that because at first Teal'c doesn't want her to call for help, and then but she convinces him basically. It's like, are you
Yeah.
sure? Like you don't look so good, man. And I forgot what exactly she said, but I like how their relationship evolved just enough for her to go like, dude, you need help. Like, who do I call?
Yeah, and he opens up just enough to let her do it. In the medbay, they were able to reinsert the quote in the pouch, and because apparently it was even starting to close up, so they had to reopen the pouch. They managed to get it in, and they have the drug, and it's helping him to get better. Hammond informs them that Mayborn ordered all the specimens of the alien bug, and then Harlow says that's impossible. After Teal'c gets better, the bug will be involved in an unfortunate lab accident.
Oh no, those damn pesky unfortunate
And I
lab
will
accidents.
have to take full responsibility. So like
yeah.
Harlow redeems himself by the end.
I mean, he was never really.
No, he wasn't really the bad guy. He really thought he was doing a good thing.
Yeah, he really thought like, okay, we need a specialist. Let me just call the specialist. But he didn't have the background on
He didn't know Mayborn, yeah.
the way that they did know.
Exactly, and he
Mayborn.
realized like, oh, this guy is ruthless.
Which is really nice because you can work with someone and they can be totally pleasant to you.
Of course.
And you don't realize what a complete ass they are until you meet other people who have also worked with that person.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, that was a really good moment.
Yeah.
So funny. Then we cut back to Ellie playing around in the building, and she bumps into Teal'c and Daniel. And
Yeah, look, Daniel has stuff to do.
It's a happy reunion, and Teal'c brought her a new super soaker with more firepower.
Bigger one.
It's bigger. And then they start a water fight.
I love how she just shoots him and runs off.
And then he puts on sunglasses.
We shouldn't have loaded. And like Christopher Judge, very cool, puts on sunglasses. How else would she be able to defend herself? And he just shoots Daniel, and then he runs off.
Sprints off after her, and we cut to black.
And that's such a nice moment.
It's such a good moment.
Yeah. And I really like it. It is slightly unfortunate for me that Teal'c has more chemistry with this kid than he has with his son. Because all he ever does about his own son is say that he is strong. And I don't know.
But it is somehow logical, because his son is always in the context of their civilization and how they're supposed to live. And
I know.
This will change.
But the thing is, like, he never treats Sam any less, and he never treats Ellie any different than just a kid. But somehow, whenever he goes to his own family, everything just warps so weirdly for me. But I'm on a tangent now. We're totally out of
it's a good
base on
point,
the-
but I think that's very normal. If you return to your home situation, you will fall back into these old roles.
But it doesn't feel like it's old roles for him, because he never even has, like, a transition period or something. I don't know. It feels like he is estranged from his family, so that does fit. Like, he doesn't really know his son, and
he
doesn't-
only knows like the rituals and the customs of their society. So when he goes home, he expects that everybody will follow these rules as he knows
maybe.
them. Meanwhile, when he's on Earth, he doesn't.
I don't know, but
Like and he will change. I think if you look at the larger arc of Teal'c and his family, it will all evolve in a good way.
well, we're not there.
We're not
yet.
there yet, but I know for a fact that Ryak will return and that the relationship with Ryak will change.
Well, it's not even just Teal'c. I do feel it's a little bit of the writing. Like, this is Teal'c's son, and basically all his character information is Teal'c's son. Point.
Yeah.
Like, not point. That's not what they say in English.
Because they're still
What's the end of the sentence?
a point, a period.
Period. There we go.
But there's still it's his son, it's the world building they're trying to do, it's setting up all the stuff with Teal'c and the Jaffa, and you're absolutely right that his
just
son
feel
needs
like
more
Personality.
personality, more meat on the bones. But it's good that we see Teal'c here. We see him how he acts with another child, and this will probably inform him later on when he meets his son again and they're changing. Like, I think this is a necessary step for him as a character also to evolve.
Remember when the first time he met Cassandra? And then he looked scary. And he says, smile. And he goes in and his entire demeanor changes. And he's actually good with kids.
Same
Like,
here. Like,
yeah.
he's at the point where he meets Ellie. He's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
He's not keeping up his normal stoic appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees that he's in pain. And she latches onto that. So that really works. So... Like, overall, like, it's maybe a very tropey episode in the way that
but
what
again,
the story is about, but it really, really works.
Tropes, if you use tropes well, and they
Yeah.
work, I don't mind them. I wrote down, like, oh, he's gonna meet a kid. And I was annoyed, but then he met the kid, and it was executed to perfection. So I'm not gonna complain about
Yeah,
it. Tropes
as a-
work because
as a-
they're tropes.
As a one-off, like a little horror story with Teal'c, this is just really well done.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a really good episode. Like, if you're going for episodic television, this is like the good stuff. You want a new kind of story every week, and this was more like, maybe a slightly body horror kind of thing, but of course it's for TV, so it's very tame.
I mean, it does. Well, yeah, but it still counts as body horror.
But it works.
Like, if that is one
Yeah.
of your triggers, then
Exactly.
you'd
Yeah, I
want to
think
know.
if your
You'd
trigger
want to
is
know going
webbing,
in. If one of your triggers is body horror, you're gonna want to know that one before going in.
exactly. Yeah, I really like this one.
So what's the next one?
Of course, I should start writing these down at
Well,
the
yeah,
end of
you
my
know,
notes.
I always ask you.
I know you do. I
And
know.
yet you come unprepared.
I'm so unprepared. Look at me being unprepared.
You can cut all of this out.
Stargate. No, I'm keeping this in.
Why?
Because it's entertaining.
Do, 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 do.
No, this is another movie. That's no.
Okay.
Oh, here is a slight difference in IMDb. Says that the next one is Tok'ra Part 1, but I saw
No,
on
the
our
DVD
DVD
is-
set it's Spirits.
Yeah.
So that's the one we're gonna watch next because
Okay.
we're following the DVD order.
That was also a very weird thing that sometimes happens. Like production order wasn't necessarily
Yeah, but that's logical. Production order and airing order
yeah.
is
Okay.
you block shoot your stuff in the way that it's
Or yeah, but sometimes it would be like storyline order, and then somehow still it would
Yeah.
change, and you could catch it sometimes because they would talk about episodes that hadn't been aired yet, and I could never figure out why that happened because it's not only like in Stargate. Well, this is the first
Well-
time that we run into it, but it does happen even a couple of times, I think, in Star Trek Voyager, and in some other things that you can just
Well, the
see that the order changes for some reason.
The worst example is Firefly.
Well, yeah, but that was that was just the
Yeah, but it is the network who sometimes just overrules your showrunners and says, no, we're going to air it in this order
Yeah.
because we think this is better because we have an action-filled episode and we want this one and not the family episode. And like, but you're telling a story. There is an order to these
Yeah.
things. But I don't think in this episodic television format, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it has
There-
always been a big deal because, like, when rewatches happen, there's always fans who are gonna be like, "I want to watch it the way it was shown on TV," and then you have fans that say, "No, I want to watch it the way it was intended." So you do have two camps.
No, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that, like, it's not there's no mistakes and there's no continuity errors in there if you watch it out of order, but they're minor into compared to if you nowadays jumble up a one story arc season of the thing. So there's not that big of a thing if you
See, that's what the executives thinks, and then they throw things around,
I know,
and that's how
I
you
know.
piss off the writers. Okay,
know.
so
like if I can, I will prefer to do it the way it was intended to.
yeah.
But sometimes it also requires a lot of homework to find out why things are different or changed. And I don't think it's going to be that big a deal here.
What should be a big deal now? It probably won't be.
You know what it might be?
Okay. Spirits.
They used to release these DVDs also as single issue DVDs in cases, and you could buy them 4 episodes at a time. And Tok'ra is a 2-parter.
Oh, and I wanted to split it up.
And they might have wanted to split that up so they would be sure you bought the next DVD.
Okay, because this is disc 3, episode 3 that we're gonna watch.
Yeah. So that might be the reason that the order is slightly changed. Very curious about the next one, about spirits, because it involves some Native Americans. So this could be really problematic.
No.
But I don't remember anything about this episode. So
That's usually not a good sign.
we're gonna see how that one goes. I might have a little tidbit about that next week.
Now I am really worried because
Yeah, I don't remember anything about that one. So let's meet back next week when we have seen this one, and we will tell you if it really is problematic or if it's okay or maybe just a bit misguided.
well, I'm sorry, but a bit misguided. I mean,
I think that's probably the baseline we're starting at.
Yeah, but that's very easy to say, like about the white people. They're just a bit misguided.
Yeah.
No, I am
Yeah,
not
I'm-
cutting anyone any slack to
Yeah,
next time.
I'm a bit afraid, of
Yeah.
that one. But we'll see.
We'll see.
It's gonna be interesting.
We should probably wrap
Yeah,
things up.
we're gonna wrap this one up. We'll see you all next week. You can follow us on all your socials. You can watch the other show on this YouTube channel, which is our campaign, which is now rolling out now. It's going strong, so I hope you're enjoying that one too. And then you can come back on Mondays for our podcast, and you can come on Thursdays for our campaign in the Alien RPG. And then we'll see you next week for what is on IMDb, episode 13, Spirits.
You're very busy.
Yes. Almost. Bye.